Hello everybody, my name is Robert Charles Corley. I'm a film and media composer. I've scored several films and have plenty of experience. I want to kind of cover, be kind of a longer video, but I want to kind of cover kind of the basics of trailer writing. It's something that most composers are going to have to do at some point throughout their career. It's a great entry point into the profession. It gets, helps you network a lot. Um, It helps you just really get a better sense of how to just really score something because they're usually only about 2 to 3 minutes long, right? First thing that I did here was change my BPM to 100, as well as the time signature to 6/8. I'm going to want the beat on the eighth note because trailer music has that drive to it, and not necessarily trailer music, really, pretty much really any, in my opinion, action music is going to have that 6/8 feel. You think, pirate music, chase scenes, you want to have the accents be on those eighth notes on the downbeat there. Um, First thing I'm going to do here, this is my main template that I use. It's got a bit of everything involved in here. Um, so and everything preloaded on top of these on every track here is going to have a equalizer, just cutting off some of the bass as well as some of the high ends on the low ends. I'm going to go right through here into my string folder here. I'm going to add in um, two libraries here. Just one from Sign Player, which is Metropolis Arc 1. Great library for kind of piercing, powerful. When I watched a video about this library, they claimed that they actually recorded everything at Mezzo Forte was the quietest dynamic they recorded it at. So I'm going to start there with these Wolfenstein low strings. Where did it go? There it is right here. Just to kind of, I guess, get me going because these are great. They have that drive and the force needed for a track like this. Next, I'm just going to load up Abbey Road 1, solid, Spitfire. Everything Spitfire is pretty much, in my opinion, solid, and you can really use a lot of stuff with it. Create really great setting tracks. All right, so starting with Sign Player, we're going to start very simple. Um, I don't know if I choose the instrument here. I did. All right, there we go. All right. Start off, I mean, I kind of typically when writing with this, you want to have, you want to usually end on either diminished chord or a seventh chord to give that tension before releasing back to the one. For example, right, that G there is going to create that tension that we need. And this really works for me. You can take any simple chord progression and just play the root note. Second time around, maybe. So we just kind of go and click, hit the click and just see how we get along with it. Don't judge my piano playing skills. I'm not a very efficient piano player, so you can see I was pretty early on a lot of those. Which may require some, yeah, okay. Just gonna go like this, just clean it up really quick here. I somehow actually missed a whole beat there. Dun 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 dun. Bum 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 bum. And missed one there too. Dun dun dun. Everything else, that was good, okay. First thing I'm gonna do, I see a lot of people keep their dynamics so high in their mixes, and it creates just this completely, you can't even hear what's happening. There we go. And yeah, it sounds great, but by the time you get to the mixing and mastering stage, you just have a nightmare to deal with, and it's almost impossible to actually fix. Not actually impossible, but it just takes a lot more time to fix them if you just went for it. Something like this here. Maybe we have an accent on every single new change here on each of the chords. So, boom, right here. Should be the middle too. Yeah, we'll keep the middle as well, just to kind of keep things consistent. So it's gonna go bum 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 like that. Let's hear it. Bum 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 bum. Very nice indeed. Alright, next we're gonna go into Abbey Road. Same exact thing. It's just this time we're gonna set them up actually a whole octave higher. Bum 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 bum. Very nice. Okay. So you gotta listen like this. You hear those cellos if they're high coming through. Very cool. Remember this back to bar 2. Actually, I don't need 2 bars to go into. Alright, so this is kind of like your main motor, I guess you could call it. And it's gonna kind of play throughout pretty much the whole track. And this is the beginning of the track, right? And this will continue to lead on into the next parts. All the way up into the climax, and will also continue in the resolution as well. This is going to be your main, it's going to keep the track moving on that 8th note. So next, just going with, probably typically do violas here. Violas, you can do violins. Let's make sure these guys are on shorts. This is all, a lot of my strings I use is actually Cinematic Studios. I just really like them. I also use, as you can see, BBC Symphony Orchestra for some of my stuff as well. Violas, think maybe just like a simple repeating broken thirds, kind of like a fun fact, I can't play it like that fast, so we're gonna have to do it kind of the cheaty way and go through here and do it ourselves, which is fine. So let's go in here with 16th notes. Is that did I start in the right place? Oh, I did. Okay. And then here. I did not make this long enough. Oops. The start finish. Oh, I don't like when it does that. My autosave is set to every 5 minutes, so kind of a bummer sometimes, but oh, I did just about enough notes. Okay. Together they sound like this. I switched it to actually just staccato instead of spiccato because it was kind of terrible sounding, to be honest. We're going to leave this in here to kind of build up and then fall down. Just simple hairpins. That was a terrible hairpin. Okay. Now back to it. We'll hear it again. I do this a lot. I like to hear after I write. Boom. Dun dun dun. maybe right here. So we have, so maybe this last two turn to the D there to complete that chord. So we have everything playing there. Let's hear it. Cool. There's your simple pattern, right? Simple pattern. Um, but it's far from over, far from over. So we have our bass here, and the bass strings and the low strings. And these, as you guys saw, these are just, this cello bass, cello bass. So, which is fine. But just like, when using a full ensemble string patch, you really don't want to do that. You really want to break it up into a full section so you get like legato transitions or the actual preciseness of a single recorded instrument instead of using an ensemble. So if we take, for example, that the Metropolis arc, and we put it maybe on, let's put it maybe on some cellos down here. Make sure that they can play. No, they can't. There we go. And that's, yeah, okay, good. So time to go here, and we're going to edit this staccato, staccatissimo. Yeah. Boom. Cool. And we'll take the same thing, and then we'll put it on the basses. The basses as well. Just give it some more oomph. And a track like this, you want to make sure it's all balanced though, and you have everything nice and balanced. Because it can get, you're going to have a lot of things going on in a track like this, so make sure not to double up too much on certain aspects. That sounds good to me. Alrighty. And you may be wondering, I used to write everything like with this, but then it just got so tiring to scroll through everything, so now I really keep it like that, nice and slim and thin. Alright, this is pretty much your main low strings and mid strings done. Nothing spectacular. Let's go back onto the violas though, because there's like a lot more we can do with the violas. So we can go in now and just have some stronger accents with staccato, right? It's a bit of a longer pull. So if we come down here, right, and we start here on every single downbeat that it changes. Boom. So it would be 2, 4, 6, and 8. So let's go ahead and do that. Cool. Again, sorry about the piano playing. Good thing I'm a composer and not a performer. I actually like it better if it's played on every downbeat. Let's go ahead and make that better and quantize it. And then, boom. Now we have it perfect. It's a bit loud though. Dun, dun. So. Have those last two kind of punch through the mix. You may think, oh, like I'll just save the mixing for later, but it's really important to really just. It may sound too quiet to you now, but the moment you start, whether it's like ozone, like an A master, or whether you do it yourself with compression, limiters, and etc., it's gonna be louder no matter what you do at the end. So it's better to keep it quiet now, so when you do get to the mastering stage, it's it's too loud to even listen to. All right, and now maybe we add some we kind of build up on this chord. So we're at here, right? This is not going to be playing staccato. Oops. Staccato symbol, please. Okay. So we have this right in the first fill part. Then we go down to here. So what we could do, we could keep this. And then we come down here, we could add a B flat. See what I mean? Just kind of build the full triad of the chord using the strings here. And it's going to add so much more depth. So much more. One more time, let me fix this. This is going to drive me crazy. Okay. So we're going to add, we have this. And we stay on that for 2 times. So back to the viols, we take this. We go through here, we're going to paste it there. So we stay on that. This same one twice. So we take it, we take this, we go here. So that's placed for twice. And now this one, we're going to just send back up to here. Alright. So we know we hit this at this chord change, right? Because this is the first one. This is the second one, we're down here. This one's here. So we're going to keep the G. Kept the G. And we got to just send these guys, just transpose them down just a half step onto that B flat. So when we get back down to here, we go G to B natural. And it's going to create this very interesting sound. Listen to this. It's not that interesting yet. There's the interesting part. Okay. Oh. Let's fix that. Okay. And then let's crescendo that up. Okay? Here's my save again. If you guys are wondering about other music I've written, my Spotify is Robert Charles Corley. All my film scores are on there as well as just personal work that I've done. And there's like there's a whole bio out there to learn more about me. But yeah, I just love writing music and love sharing what I know. So with all that said, this all together now. Hear the full triad there. And we have that tension there at the very end. Oof. And then it releases once it finishes. So when it finishes right here, then right we have the resolve. Right, we go from the minor to the major. It's actually a minor again, it's just a diminished. Okay. So that's a pretty solid foundation for the strings of starting. Right, this is the start of the song. Or maybe they're being chased, or it's showing like it's introducing the actors, whatever it may be doing. At bar 10 is where we're going to start to kind of develop this idea. Right now we introduce maybe an ostinato. An ostinato is just a repeated phrase, right? Think one of the most, I guess not famous, but one of my personal favorite ostinatos is from Star Wars. In the Duel of Fates, when Obi-Wan fights Darth Maul, the dun 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 dun, it just repeats the whole entire time. The whole song is built off of that. And you can learn a lot from that ostinato because ostinatos can be very boring, right? If you take, right, for example, using this song I'm creating here, the start is this, right? So if we add in just a third, that works. It sounds fine. However, it's boring. It's so boring. You think Duel of Fates, dun 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 dun, you have those extra 16th notes in there that create just more of a interesting variety. So maybe you alternate it. Just doing that sounds better, right? Just alternating, right? And all I'm doing there is I'm taking, right, it's a C, an E flat, and then a G. And just G to C to E flat. And it just creates more, it makes it more interesting to hear. It's a very simple trick. Just kind of just whenever you have a simple idea, like just repeating the third, just play around with it as many variations. Maybe you add in maybe you go to octave higher, so you kind of go, right, something like that. I don't know. It's the beauty of composing. Just do whatever you want. All right. So we added in here. Um, that sounds, it may need some reverb on that. So hold on. I don't want to do all that. So yeah, we're gonna use PBCs. Okay. Let's go ahead and write that. So that's potentially going to be triplets. I don't actually know. We'll find out when we start writing it. So here we introduce the ostinato right at bar 10. Go through here. Actually, it wouldn't fit if it's triplets because it's in 6/8. Da, 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 da. Wait, what? Will this work? Hold on. Oh, it does work. Okay, that works. We do have to do some work for the octaves. Okay, here's our simple ostinato. Wait, let's transpose this up. It's called an inversion. And having this, oh yeah, that's gonna be perfect. Because remember we had the violas playing, the second the divisi part of the viola is playing the G here, where the other one switches to the B there, and then goes up to the D to complete that full triad at 16. Cool. Let's just add in some nice dynamic levels. Yeah. Okay. With that all done, this is going to be a long video, by the way. I'm very sorry. I'll make several parts of it, though, so you can follow along with each part. Maybe I do like uh, maybe like 1 minute per part, or maybe like 30 seconds per part, depending on how long it takes to get going. Because while trailing music follows pretty much a simple formula like this, like just creating just a simple string arrangement, it does get really complex when we get into like all the percussion and like sound design stuff that does come into it. Uh, let's hear it now when we have that ostinato played. Excuse me. And right there, that the note D comes in there with the triad. It sounds really, really nice. Okay, very solid foundation for the strings here. Now comes the question, where do we go next, right? And that's kind of the fun in it. There's so many options to go, where do we go next? Typically, um, I like to introduce some low woodwinds here. I use Cinemax Studio woodwinds for like um, for melodic lines, but I really just using like Abbey Road 1's woodwinds works great in staccato because they're just very punchy, very powerful. can actually go lower than that, I think. I actually 100% lied. And now for the woodwinds here, we want them to kind of, have such a great color to them, especially bassoons, which is what we're using here a lot. Um, they have kind of, as you can hear that color, right? They blend with strings so well. You'll find that a lot of composers are going to use woodwinds on top of an ostinato to just kind of make it sound fuller. It's going to give it a brightness, a more warmth sound to it. So we're going to raise the velocity for every one of these notes here to help, because the strings will overpower them 100%. I mean, strings, we have quite a lot of strings layered already. So they're going to need some help to punch through. All right, let's give that a listen. You hear those right there? Right, very cool. All right, continuing with the winds, let's focus on this. All right, this is the viola that's playing. Um, just it's playing with the, I guess, the arpeggiated here, right? Just the broken thirds, where the broken thirds is playing, but just as a chord together, right? Right. So we take that. Let's put it on high winds here. I guess they're really high. Um, oh, that's fine. Back to what I was saying. High winds. Yeah, there we go. Right about there. Beautiful sound. Okay. I want them to kind of punch you a bit more. There we go. Really allow them to come through in the mix. Um, it's just going to help to kind of just, it's almost like when you're mastering a track and there's, glue, right? For example, like percussion, you want to glue your percussion together using, a compressor, or whether it's just an overall master plugin like Ozone to throw onto your percussion bus to help it sound uniform. In my opinion, woodwinds really help to make the strings feel like they're solid together, and give it a more realistic tone. Because many composers these days, it's expensive to hire a real orchestra to play your music. Two, a lot of composing is done this way in a DAW. Um, so it's really beneficial to try to create as much realism as possible. So thinking about like breathing wise and everything, especially for instruments that need to breathe. So woodwinds creating gaps where they can take a breath um, is going to create realism. Um, and also using woodwinds to in unison with strings, right? When they're doubling strings, it's going to create just a whole wall of sound that sounds very atmospheric and very alive and very much, real. All right. With that being said, we have some decisions to make, excuse me. So we can either start to work on percussion, sound design, or we can start with brass, right? So at this point, we need to start adding in something here to get ready for bar 18. Bar 18 is where we're going to really pick up the pace, pick up the momentum. In other words, kind of where things start to go nuts, right? When you have like something big on screen, whether this is for a trailer or whether it's just for a huge adventure scene, right? There's something big coming. So this is a big build up here. So we got to start to really emphasize this build up that's coming for bar 18. A couple ways we can do that. We can start to add in some very simple percussion hits, right? Whether it's like a concert bass drum, or whether it's low taikos or grand casa on every single bar here. And then on top of that, we can use some low brass, like some basses and tubas, to really complement the big hits, right? Boom, boom, boom. And then have something, in the mid brass, like maybe some trombones to complement in between, and then build off there with maybe we start with a melodic line and a horn here. Um, so I think I'm going to go the route of starting with percussion here. So I'm going to go to here, I'm going to take a bass drum. This is the BBC Symphony Orchestra's Spitfire. We'll start with this. Right. Very simple. Everything's going to be on beat. Okay. So now we have that all nice and quantized. Already we're hearing momentum. Now to complement this, we can add something maybe in the highs. So this is a Grand Casa, right? Huge hit. So we take something maybe more in the mid, right? Start to give it some more momentum. We'll complement it at the same time, like that. So it's Grand Casa down below, and then a tom hit. This is a damage 2. All right. All right, perfect. First thing that I noticed, way too high velocity on a lot of these. So I'm gonna take those down just a smidge. All right, now let's hear it. And it should just add, it's going to complement the bass drum. By adding that tom, it's going to help kind of just the mix by having a high mid percussion in there already is going to help kind of ease the bass, because a big concert bass drum does produce a lot of bass frequencies, and it's going to really help balance everything. Excuse me. We'll start at 9. Cool. All right. Now comes the brass. A couple things we can do here. We're going to load up a sine player, and we're going to go into Metropolis Arc 1. But really, I mean, any low brass is going to work for this. I love the way that Simbassi sounds. They have that crisp sound about them. They sound great. So we're going to throw that in there on top of the hits, but playing the same chords that the cello and bass are playing. I don't know how I was early there. It sounded like I was missing it early. quantize all that. That works. We went up to the B here. Um, I don't know if I liked it, so we're gonna get rid of it. And let's hear that with the Simbasi now in there. Cool. Alright, from the beginning, let's see if we can hear anything we want to add. Alright, so here, maybe we start to introduce some melodic theme. Not the full theme, some type of variation before we get into the full theme of R18. So, maybe we start here. We start maybe like a, there we go. I'm going to use those, so hold on, let me duplicate this. This is again Metropolis horns. We're going to use the like auto patch though. Okay. Let's go for it. Let's just see what happens. Kind of sometimes whatever you write down, whatever comes to mind is the best. Not terrible, very simple. Not really a theme though, so we'll leave it in there because it actually does complement the piece very well. Let's make sure everything is properly quantized. Okay. Leave it in just for now. Cool. So now we get to kind of have fun here with the brass, right? The brass is going to be your standout, right? They're the loudest section. We're going to go actually not from a Metropolis Arc. We're going to use Cinematic Studio here. And just complement it. Inversion here because I can't put that low. Oops. We're gonna keep it off there. Don't need that excess. Okay. Let's hear it. It's starting to take shape, as you can see. Starting from the beginning, though, we need something to kind of help push us along. So there's a couple things we can do. We can add a bass line. Let's add that. It's going to go away. At bar 10, we'll cut it out. We'll remove it. This is just going to help really emphasize what the root note is, right, of each chord here. Right, that's C to A flat to E flat to G. Let's hear it. I want the power, so I'm going to leave it at the same dynamic level. Just bring it down in the mix. All right. Once that saves, we'll get back into it. All right, now that we have this laid down, we gotta kind of add a, I guess you want to call it like a, something unique about it to kind of gather your attention when you're listening. Because this so far, it's very generic sounding. We gotta have something that's kind of like a, ooh, this is interesting. Something I love to use is gonna be guitars. Whether it's tries the guitar motor, for example. This is from Audio Imperia. They make a great guitars. So we'll choose this and do the same thing that the bass is playing. So we're going to take this. We're going to also now we're going to go edit to their channel here. We're going to actually add a auto pan, which is going to pan it left and right in your ears, right? So that was the module changes the amount of distortion. So we're going to take the bass line, paste it down there, send them up though, take the entire dynamic line, and get rid of it. Push it up an octave though. And make sure it's tight on the beat because this is not legato, it is a sustain patch, so it's going to bleed with each other. So right, very cool. We're gonna go ahead to the main volume though and actually just knock it down. All right. So we introduce, boom. We'll go ahead and paste it over there as well. Alright, so next we're going to take everything we have and paste it to 18, right? This is still very bare bones. There's a lot to do with it. Um, but let's move on to the next section just so we can start to build some melodic theme that's going to help us then. Once we figure out the melodic theme, then we can start to incorporate it back into here and figure out, what call and responses we need to add, what variations we can add in the beginning here to hint at the theme before we get to bar 18. Because right now there's a lot we could do. We could start, for example, with the piano and have, just play the chord progression. Um, to kind of start us off, and then have some sustained strings, right, just legato strings underneath that, and then start to build into this type of thing here, into this more upbeat area. But for right now, we're going to ignore that, and we're going to start right here, and just kind of see where it goes. So the next thing that I want to do is we want to create some more weight for the strings, because right now it sounds very stale. It's not really exciting. It's very formulated sounding, very by the book. So to do that, we're going to take, what should we take? Let's take a viola again. If you can't tell, I really like violas. They have such a great, rich tone to them. I'm going to take their staccato, let's stick with staccato. We're going to take what the violin is playing. This is the ostinato, right? We're going to take it. We'll keep actually in the same octave. We're going to mess around with it. So maybe we take this, we just kind of draw a line like this. And maybe this gets pasted up there, as well as we copy it again, paste it down there. Now if you look what I did, they're in between here, right? Dun, dun, dun. So it's playing into this place. So these are all going to match up chord-wise, right? Very interesting, right? Very cool. So, oops, not that small. We take this, we're going to paste that again here, and let's hear. It sounds more, there's more flavor, there's more variety, it's more interesting sounding. Right? Alright. Let's see what else could we add here. So now it really comes down to just adding some percussive elements. So I like to always have some type of pad, whether it's a synth, whether it's a drone. Most electronic hybrid libraries, whatever you want to call them. I think Ashlight, Straylight, what else? Lores, Symphonic Destruction. Those type of libraries are going to have a lot of pads in them. And pads, what for this is what this pad sounds like. Right? It's going to complement, it's going to blend with strings very, very nicely. So we're going to come in here. We're going to write out the chords for this pad. After that, we're going to write legato strings, right? Some people think it's not a bad omen. It just doesn't work to have, strings playing legato, and if you also have strings playing shorts, it doesn't work. But any film music you listen to is gonna have that because it just creates such a sure, maybe in an orchestral setting if you're writing for a live orchestra and it's a performance and it's not gonna be for film and it's not gonna be a DAW as a backing track. That makes sense. But when you have unlimited string players in a DAW, why wouldn't you do something like this to make it sound better? So we'll start with this. Let's think it right. It's 2 bars, right? So bar 2 to 3 or 4. And then come here, we're going to add in, right? That. Make it longer. Come on. We're down to here now. Very heartfelt chords. Very nice, very full, very warm chords. Finally come down here to the resolution, a minor. Okay. Now you're going to come through here. Anytime you see a repeat a note on synth, whether it's any sustained playing instrument, you're going to want to get rid of this. Unless it's a legato, unless you're playing, like, for example, a violin's and legato patch, then they can double play and it's going to imitate a bow change. But for a synth like this, you don't want it to restart. You want to continue building its momentum on that, so it helps the change in between notes. You hear the difference here, right? We have that continuous sustain. You see right here when the majority of the notes change, you lose some of the momentum of the sound because it's changing here. This helps it keep at that same momentum and allows it to swell back up. Very nice. Okay. Let's hear it with the strings. Right? Very subtle. It adds a fullness to the track that was missing before. It's filling in the excess space so there's sound, so it sounds more full. So when you go to finally master and mix your track or mix and master, it's going to be there and it's going to come out when you do the mix and master and it's going to fill in the gap there, right? Because there is a gap of the chords here, right? Because all the chords are broken up, right? Every single chord here, right? From 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8, 8 to 10. There is a chord, but they're all broken up because everything's playing staccato or spiccato. This helps guide the listener to kind of hear what the finished chord sounds like and not having to kind of piece it together. So we're going to take the pad. We're going to go here to we use a lot of the violas. Okay, well we'll do 2 cellos for sure. We're going to break it up like this. Add in some modulation. I think we're going to swell up to about there, come back down to here, swell up to the there, and come back down. Okay, let's hear it. Alright, next let's change the velocity of the notes. And then we're going to go into here and go to 64th note. Just these last two, because we want that to lead into the uh, beyond its played area. This is going to imitate the legato transition. Okay, go here. We're going to record or copy this modulation. Go to our second cello patch. Maybe this one's playing something along these lines. Like that, I don't know. Ask him, not me. Yeah, that looks right. go back to velocity and fix that so they don't have a accent on the attack there. Gorgeous. Alright, let's add, I guess we can just we can really fill this whole thing up with cellos. It's good to have some violas in there, even though I love violas, but I'm not trying to be biased or anything, but they really do add such a warm tone, so we will eventually do that. Let's cut out this, and something like that maybe. Come right to here, come to modulation, paste it again. I need to recopy it. Modulation, copy it, paste it there. Okay. Now we're going to just hear our three strings, right? Our three cellos that are playing with the pad. And it's going to give us a sense of what it's going to sound like. Right? Very nice. Okay. We're going to go here, add track, instrument. We're going to add two violas. Okay? I like to have all my things in capitalized letters. It makes me feel better. I don't know why. Some activities again, violas. For me, the BBC Symphony Orchestra is too warm, has too much room to it. The room is what it's recorded in, and it's the excess reverb at the automatic, right? If I play this, oh, hold on. If I play this, for example, here when I lift off, the natural reverb, the natural room that's recorded in, there isn't very much. And I like that for this type of thing because if there's too much reverb, it's going to take up too much space in the mix. Even though you have equalizers on all your instruments, right? And it's configuring to get rid of that excess frequency in the lows and the highs, it's still just, it makes it too muddy and unclear at times. You can always add reverb, but if you start with too much within the actual sample, if the sample has too much, you can't really do much about that. So, that being said, let's take the pad, paste it here, into the violas, our first one. That's not what I wanted to do. No, stop. Hold on, it's saving. Great. Okay. I'm thinking we do the same thing that the cello was playing. The last cello 3 there. But maybe instead of going, yeah. Something like that. We're going to steal the same automation, right? We're going to have this whole thing to have the same exact automation so that it sounds beautiful. Paste it up. We're going to take the pad again, my second viola, which I need to actually load up a viola for this one. Okay, once we get this loaded up, we'll finish that up. We'll hear what the whole strings plus the pad sound like, and you'll get what I mean. But it's great to incorporate a pad with strings. This one is going to play this. And it's going to go down, all the way down there. Damn. Okay. Up it goes. We take the automation once again. We paste the automation. Alright, just our legato strings, or legato violas and cellos with our pad here. Beautiful. And let's hear it all together. Cool. So next, let's start. I see bells. Let's put some bells in here. Won't hurt anybody. Very useful. It's gonna help in the high frequency as well. They have such a great tone to them, and they just, I don't know, it's such a distinctive sound. I don't know, I really like to use bells in a lot of my music. All right. Perfect. Let's hear the beginning to see if we hear anything else. All right, maybe we add. Oof, scared the shit out of me. All right, this will work. So we take a pad that's playing the chords, we paste it onto horns. This is the BBC Symphony Orchestra. They, in my opinion, Cinemax Studios is great for your punch through melodic lines. However, BBC Symphony Orchestra horns are great for that kind of that chorale sound, right? You just want to play very intimate sounding chords, and they do a very good job at that. So we're going to go back through here. We're going to take the same automation once again from our strings, put it on our horns. And let's hear. This time though, we're going to add some layering, or not layering, excuse me, inversions to the chords. Knock this down. But this time we're going to actually swell up to here. So we're going to dip this down. Okay. A big part, as you can probably start to kind of realize and see, when writing, you know, epic is a loosely used term in my opinion, but when writing epic orchestral hybrid music, or just, hybrid music in general, don't be afraid to just layer and layer and just keep putting layers onto it. Because it's going to give it the fullness that you're looking for. Um, and that's it may seem like it's a lot of just constantly copy and pasting, but using different um, using different sample libraries. Like for example, using like Metropolis Arc 1, Abbey Road 1, and on top of Cinemax Studios. Yes, they're the same instruments, but they're all recorded differently. They're going to each have a very distinctive tone to them, which is going to kind of create that realism. So kind of layering your strings, using different brass, using different, uh, like using a synth on top of your strings is going to help kind of bind it together to create this full sound that you wouldn't get if you just use, if I just use Cinemax Studios, the series for it, right? Their percussion, their strings, their brass, their woodwinds, and then their piano. Um, you wouldn't get this big sound. It would sound great, but that's great for writing, intimate orchestral symphonic writing, not so much something like this, right? You're not going to find a guitar that's being panned in orchestral writing. You're not going to find pads. You're not going to find anything electric. And that's also when we get into this further, we're going to start adding in stuff from a library called Symphonic Destruction, which is full on hybrid music. Damaged percussion we'll use a lot later on, which is a lot of hybrid hits and sounds and big, whooshes and big risers and hits. Um, big reverses, stuff like that. That's not going to be found. But using that stuff all into incorporating that into an orchestral setting is going to create that huge sound that you're looking for. Okay, we're going to work on some more woodwinds here in this second part. Let's take these violas, for example. We'll throw it onto the oboes here. This is going to help with the drive. We're going to remove the bottom of the third here. Okay? Play this. Okay? It's going to help fill that higher frequency. Alright, now we're going to start adding some interesting, I guess you could call them motifs to an extent, but some very interesting, maybe some bass line here that's very interesting, very engaging sounding. So let's figure out here. We could use just, simply we could take Metropolis Arc 1, take another instance of it, and then just boost the velocity so it pierces through here a little bit. What I like to do, take something that's repeated. For example, our ostinato in here. Where is the ostinato being played by the violas? Is it this one here? Yeah. So this here, right? We wrote this a bit earlier. Oh, not that one, this one. So if we take this, for example, let's duplicate another track of Metropolis Arc slow string, and then we'll put on top of this some bass trombones and maybe some tubas right on top of this to really accentuate the bass here whenever this loads. Oh, it already loaded. Get rid of this. Solo this. Make sure this is. Okay. Okay, take this. Right, that's the viola, the ostinato we wrote earlier, right? That's complementing the violin ostinato. Paste it on Metropolis Arc. We're going to go in here and we're going to do. This is kind of, I guess you could say it's kind of boring, but I think it's fun. We're going to remove the bottom line. Not that one though, because that's your transition. Remove the bottom line. transition. Remove the bottom line. Remove here, these three here. Like that. Dun, dun. These three. Bum, 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 bum. What if we did keep that there? Ooh, I like that. Okay. So, what's eighth notes? Dun, 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 dun. Bum, bum, bum. Ooh, this gets a bit different here. So far we have, let me just put this down here in an octave lower. Dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun. Have a bum, bum. And then dun, dun, dun. Here, so yeah. Let's hear this. Where did the part go that was right here? Da 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 da. Right. Dun dun da da dun dun. Dun da da dun da da dun. Bum. It's like this. This part gets confusing here. Alright, similar along those lines. Let's see how this kind of sounds. Alright, let's give it a go. This sounds alright. It's nothing special. Alright, so we're going to take that in unison with our violin, ostinato, and Jules the viola. So let's hear that. Right, cool, right? So if we take this again, let's go to, maybe this time we'll use some trombones, specifically bass trombones. It'll be Metropolis. Yeah, let's throw that on Metropolis Bones. That's what they sound like with it. We may have to do some arranging here because I lied, it sounds actually okay and very playable. Copy it again. And we're gonna put it, this time we're gonna put it on, why do I have so many of these epic brasses? I guess this one. Let's see what it is. No, it's Marcato. Okay, we'll put it on staccato. This is Eberroad again. This is your solo brass patch. So this is going to be your tubas, bass trombone, trombones. Oh, let me solo it first. Alright, kind of cool if we add some big, just kind of blindly, just, I don't know. I do this a lot. I mean, like writing epic music, you kind of want to have these huge punch throughs, right? In other words, kind of, kind of like called feathering, right? You just kind of, wherever your mouse feels like going up high, just kind of hit it up high. And it's going to add these huge boom accents, right? Listen. And then for this, because we want these really punch through, we're going to go up. We're going to go like this. We're going to take this, then we're going to go back down. Okay? Here. High lie, because they can't play that high. I guess this patch can't go that high. How about this? Alright. Let's hear this all together with the strings. Cool. Let's start at bar 7, excuse me. And let's hear that kind of go into each other, shall we? Alright, cool. Last thing. We have it in the bass here. Let's help it out a little bit. Having this played, I'm probably 2 or 3 octaves above. Okay. Violin section. This is Semax Studios. We don't want to have the this one we want. We don't want to have the tubas and the trombone though. We want to have this one, which is just the low strings. Very cool. We may have to increase the volume there depending on this. Let's hear. Specifically, we want this da 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 to really be punching through. Excuse me. fill. Right, get the gist. Now comes my favorite part. You're gonna just bang on your keyboard with some percussion. So, percussion writing comes down to very much just kind of just be free with it, I guess. You can always turn it down a lot. I feel like sometimes when I first started writing like big, especially using Damage 2, Damage 2 is naturally very loud, very loud. Um, and you gotta just kind of just don't be afraid to just pull it down in the mixer. Just pull it down just a little bit. Maybe if it's just even 5 decibels, just pull it down, and it's gonna sit perfectly. Or just turn the actual like contact volume down. If you don't want to mess with your mixer, just turn the actual contact volume down. That's gonna help a lot. So, because we need something here. There's no drive without percussion, right? This it's gonna sound a lot more exciting, I guess would be the right word, with percussion. So, alright, you got grand casses, toms, snares, and then rim shots, right? Your high percussion. I'm just gonna go ahead and see what happens, okay? I actually hated it. It was god awful. Okay, let's go again. Let's load it for it to low. We'll go quantize that, and then we get to start building our actual percussion track off this it's very simple line. So let's just click quantize and see what happens. Gosh. Excuse me. Alright. First thing. We'll just cut this down for now, so I don't have to deal with hearing it so loud in my ear, gosh. Alright. So we have this big hit. Let's think. Dun, 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 dun. Right? Very simple. Let's make it interesting, because it's really boring. So we have it boom, like that, right? And that's gonna help it. Doo doo. And like maybe like that. We repeat this. And then here we add maybe some kind of cool thing. Maybe we add a triplet. Okay, we're gonna add a let's hear this. Do 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 do. Right, very cool sounding. We're gonna take this again because we need this right about. Let's get all trippy back at the notes. Right about here, I think. And that was the line. It's right there. And we're gonna have a double hit here. Just maybe with just the toms. Here we're gonna go with 16th notes again. It's gonna be like this, and then maybe this for another snare. Alright, let's hear it. Cool. I'm sorry for everyone's ears as we're in headphones. It's gonna be really loud. And bring it down just a smidge. I'm a sucker for percussion. I love the way it sounds. Let's hear it now. What's happening here? I think that was a mistake. That's not supposed to be there. I'm not convinced, to be honest with you. Let's go up again one more time. Actually, no, I do like it. I lied. Let's add some high percussion in here now. Oops. Bum. That's good, that's good, that's good. That's terrible. Perfect, okay. I don't like how this one plays when nothing else plays. Let's start from the beginning just to get a whole sense of it, I guess. Alright. It's getting there. Let's go into the second epic brass here. Tenuto is going to be very piercing, right? Just like how I just kind of blew into the microphone. If we hear this, right? So we go. Let's do it. Dun dun. Da da da. Okay. Go something with me all eighth notes. Quantize them. And he's gonna lower actually. go. Hmm. Get rid of that. Da-da-da. Alright, we're starting to really develop a really solid foundation where we can start doing the more intricate details, right? So, probably the next part of writing this piece, we're going to probably start to add in the more intricate details. So that details like your trills, your tremolos, right? In your violins, especially in these transition areas, right? 9 to 10. It's going to really help to kind of create that I guess suspense, right? Getting into the second part here. And we can really start to focus on the layering part of actually writing. Because we got a really solid foundation for most instruments. The brass is questionable in terms of the solidness. The woodwinds are out of the question because they're woodwinds, and I'm not a huge fan of woodwinds. I really never use them for anything unless I'm writing an orchestral piece, or if they're doing runs, which this song I'm sure they're going to be very busy with runs later on. Um, but in terms of the strings, the strings have a very solid start so far. That's pretty solid. Right. I want to say the brass is good, but we definitely need to have something. Let's think. Hmm. I don't want to give away too much though quite yet. Maybe we focus on some choir in the second part, just to help. They can literally have exactly what the strings are playing, just in a full chord. Um, Underneath here, or right, I guess right here. Um, because the strings and the synth kind of fill that void. There's something missing right here, right? There's something missing. So by taking, put it here. So by taking, for example, a choir, this is a chorus from Audio Imperia, right about there. I'm thinking, ah, oh, well, O is gonna be too quiet. I'm pretty sure the O, yeah, the O's, if I remember correctly, the O's are very mild O's. They're not O. They're not open vowels. They're very closed mouth. Um, let's just plop in the modulation right about here. We're gonna have an inversion here because there's gonna be something missing right about there. Oh, and it works out perfectly. Look at that. We continue this over. Let's go, LFG. Hmm. Okay. Too quiet there, so raise them up. I don't know why. I guess because of the beginning, but take that down to 20. So when we copy it, it's not going to be so like noticeable, and it's dropping out and coming back in. Cool, and actually, you can actually hear it pretty well coming through. We're going to go up higher. We're going to literally copy the same thing, but an octave lower, but we're going to use the guys. Because they need to do something too when it comes to choir. You can't have a full choir if it's just girls. So we're gonna go sustained. Right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. This. Hold down here. Ooh, so heartfelt. Okay. And be ready. I feel like our bells kind of disappeared. Please, bells, where'd you go? Come back. Okay, Piate. I sounded very Italian or French. I'm actually not sure what language that word is, but I said it very well, I think. Oh, there we go. Have it syncopated there at the end to kind of give it some flavor. We like flavor. Oops, there we go. This, oh my god, what a mess. Take you, take you, take you. Sorry if you hear my keyboard clicking. This is actually my first video I've ever created. So whenever I, um, inevitably, if I do this ever again, I will, um, I'm not sure what that was from. Where did that come from? Oh. Sure. I will invest in I'm using my headset that I use to play video games with currently. Because it has a mic on it, right? So whenever I inevitably do another video like this, I will make sure I actually get a real mic and do it. Because so far I've enjoyed it. And it's very fun just to kind of talk to myself about music. Um, for sure. I'm in college, so I'm sure that people that can hear me probably think I'm crazy. But aren't all composers a little crazy? Alright. Perfect. You know, I kind of like how the purple sticks out. It's pretty. Well, let's start from 6. See, now we're starting to kind of hear that full sound, right? We'll go for about another 30-ish minutes. Okay, 27 to, no, 26 to be exact, actually. So that gives us more time to kind of polish up this section. You know, I've been composing music for quite some time. Um, Even though I'm fairly young, I'm self-taught. Um, but my workflow and the way I work is I have learned that, excuse me, that sometimes you're kind of so quick because you get like on this roll of just writing, and all of a sudden you write a 4-minute song, 3 hours, and then you release it, right, or whatever you do, right? But imagine if you took, if you just went back, if you woke up the next day after finishing it, and you went back to it, and you worked on it for another 4 hours. How much better it's going to be, right? You may only get a few things done, but you're going to constantly hear things. I hear, past scores that I've done from movies. I'll hear something that, whenever I hear the score and I'll hear it, I'm like, ugh, why didn't I do this? Because every time you write a piece of music, you learn from it. So the best way to avoid that kind of, I guess, that post regret after releasing it is just to spend more time on it. So right now we have, what, 17 bars of music, right? Because we didn't write at one. And we probably spent, what, an hour on it? I'm not sure. Maybe an hour? I don't really know. Um, but, might as well continue to just, instead of going forward and just copying everything going over, let's maybe the next day I go back to this project, I may have a new idea, and I'm like, oh, I should do this here. Or maybe we take this whole thing, and to make flavor, we just transpose everything by a half step, right? It's all about flavor. And transposing everything by a half step, right? Like here, for example, I'll take this ostinato. So say the next part we somehow we add, we add some big riser in here, something big crescendo, right? Which we'll probably actually do tonight, but say, oops, hold on, where'd it go? So let's copy and paste this again. So this is the, right, and it's in the key we've been writing, and now we just, raise it a half step. We have a big riser. Maybe we have, right, from bar 16, maybe actually just 17 to 18, whatever, 16 to 18, 17 to 18, whatever. We slow down the tempo, have a retardando right there. Slow down, slow down, slow down, right? Let me just have the strings play just so we can actually hear this. I actually lied, that was a terrible idea, but if I go up another half step, it's not going to be that bad of an idea. I promise you. Yeah, see? Um, that still didn't sound very good, but you get the gist. Hold on, let me see. I'm actually determined to make this part sound good. Does prove that I actually do somewhat know what I'm doing when it comes to writing music. What'd I say? 2 half steps? So I guess just a whole step in that case. No, I actually don't really know music theory. I took it for a year and I didn't retain very much, unfortunately. But, it's whatever. There we go, now it worked, right? So imagine everything's in that key now, whatever key it is. It's gonna be like, oh my gosh, it changed here. Something's happening here. This is maybe where, whatever this key, let me, I don't know keys, so I don't know why I looked at that. But yeah, I know D minor and F major are parallel keys though. But by doing so, by just transposing it up a whole step, it's gonna, the listener's gonna hear that and be like, oh, something's changing here. And then we can maybe add this theme into there, right? So that's what we'll work on the next time I work on this project. Going back to here now, because we still have about 20 minutes, actually 19 minutes. We're gonna start with, well, I really hope this all recorded actually. It's gonna suck if it didn't. We're gonna start with, hold on, let me hear it. Alright, instant epicness, in my opinion, comes from rips, horn rips. Right this. Kind of get, piratey feel. It just adds so much flair to the song. Let's add some. Not there though, from right here. Alright, we have it right there. You could barely hear it, excuse me. It was fairly quiet, actually. I was not expecting it to be so quiet. Let's go in here. That actually was perfectly timed. Let's hear it now. Do, 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 do. Do, do, do. Yeah, you hear that? Let's go. We'll increase it just by a hair. Because again, we don't want to overdo it because naturally when because I use ozone, right? Um, I mean, I've learned very much the basics of mastering with compression and equalizers, but I use ozone to do a lot of my work for me because, I mean, unless it's an actual like project where I have audio engineers to do stuff for me and sound engineers, um, for this case though, like we have to be careful of raising certain values because they're going to automatically be raised in the mix whenever you do finally mix it and master it. So, but for this case, this should be fine. Like that. Let's work on woodwinds. We have a flute, right? This is just another flute part. The Cinemax Studios. Let's start from here. Let's do um, 16 be 30-second notes. Yeah. We're gonna be in the B. So we start at D. Ooh, I didn't. Here we go. That was not the right idea. What did I do wrong here? It was the right idea. Can you play it back again, please? Even one more time, maybe. Okay. And we're gonna have to double that with the piccolo. Oh, the phone. Really? Alright, we're just gonna have to bite the bullet here and shiv the automation up. Their piccolos are played an octave higher automatically, so you're not gonna have to, because that's how they played in real life, so you're not gonna have to transpose or just, shift it up a whole octave or anything. We may have to actually manually, though, push these guys up just a little bit in the mix. Let's go ahead and give it a listen, shall we? That sounded nice. Start from 6. This is an interesting idea. So let's take, this is what was playing in the bass, or in the bones, and the tubas and basses, and we had Metropolis cello and bass playing it. If we take, for example, a trumpet solo, so it's not going to be so ear-piercing and unbearable and ear-bleeding. They probably have to be repetition. We take this. That's why it doesn't make sense. I was like, wait, what am I playing? This is what I actually wanted to copy. Under there, please. There we go. Like that. Da-da-da-da-dun. Ba-da-ba-ba. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. Let's hear this, please. All right. With that done, let's hear it. Should I just kind of, I kind of like the da-da-da-da-dun. It's kind of an interesting, I don't know, it just sounds cool, right? The second da-da-da-da-da, octave higher, right? That's the same note, right? Yeah. Let's hear. Da-da-da-da-da-da-ba-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-ba-da-me-me. Okay, I like that. One more time, please. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, let's focus now back on the percussion. So, typically we'd have a timpani roll right here, right? Right, we have a horn riff right leading into it. We have a nice glissando on the flutes and piccolos. Typically have a timpani, right? We'd be playing, in this case, we'd be playing a G. However, in my opinion, timpanis just to me, they sound so generic, and they just kind of lack. I keep going back to flavor, and just sometimes if you want to do things by the book, do them. But now, if you have a timpani, maybe we have a timpani roll with a bass drum roll with some, maybe a grand cassa roll or a taiko roll. That's gonna sound really cool. It's gonna sound kind of different, and it's gonna add more complexity to it, right? It's all about layering, right? So what we'll go ahead and do, I'm gonna first actually go into here. We're gonna add in drums. Birdie drum, please. Where's the octave for it? That's what I wanted. Alright. Come in here and add some of this. It's going to be 30-second notes typically. Just like if you're writing a timpani roll and you don't want to have to write a tremolo on the roll, you're going to write 30-second notes. If you're writing sheet music, that is. This did not get quantized. And that's parts done. I wanted this to be way over there. I'm not sure what happened. Again, this is not anything special. We're just wanting to add that kind of interesting factor. Right on to 10, right? Yep. Okay, let's hear that. All right, we'll finish this percussion part from 9 to 10, and then we'll probably call it quits for today, and we'll get back at it and um, not necessarily finish it, but probably get it to a better state. We'll re-listen to this part together, figure out if it's good or not, because 9 times out of 10 you wake up and you're like, oh, I thought this was really good last night. Um, so far I think it's coming along, it's getting there, but still it's nothing like wow, I guess. There's no flavor yet. But we're gonna keep adding stuff until there is, and we're gonna keep layering until we're like, okay, very cool, right? This is interesting. And it keeps your attention, and it doesn't sound so generic and bland. So now we're gonna add another instance of damage. This we're gonna go in here. We're gonna go into the actual instrument, edit it. Bum, 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 bum. Big Screen Ensemble is gonna have these big pre-rolls. Hold on. I'm mistaken. Where is it at? I think it's this one. Maybe. Where in the world? That actually sounds really nice. Let's fill that in. It's kind of got that metal feel to it. We need to hit on 10. That's perfect. If it go back there, it is exactly a bar long. Huh. And we're gonna duplicate again. Come on, damage. Here, my PC, it's overworking currently. It always overworks on Cubase. Gosh, it's probably because I load up all this crap. Maybe this is what I was looking for. Yeah, it was. Okay. You heard the room on that. It's just too much, actually. For this type of song, it's too much. So we're gonna pull it down just a bit. Take down the decay. If I had to guess, it's probably the same. I mean, it's both damage. Probably the same, just one bar to get there. Sure, we'll call that a yes. Alrighty, so that's done. Now we'll go ahead and add our timpani, which is we'll be playing. Oh, it's on 7 rolls. Let's change the articulation to rolls. And let's go ahead and throw that in. Right, here's what that sounds like. Go. I would actually prefer this to start at a much just one whole bar before the kind of I mean, this is the only tuned percussion we're using for this part, so it's gonna help with setting um, the root note, and not only that, it's also going to help lead into the untuned percussion because it is just noise. let's have a bit of more of a dramatic effect. Alrighty, cool. Let's back it up. Okay. Let's hear this percussion now. Yeah. Let's do one more thing. We still have a little bit of time. Harp. We're gonna throw this down onto the harp, but we're gonna expand on it. So we're gonna start probably about there. Wait, yeah, it's perfect. We're gonna take this whole thing, copy it, we're gonna place it there as well, and go. Actually, I lied. We're gonna go like this. We're gonna make it even more fun, flavorful. So we're gonna go like this. Right, we're gonna go. So we're gonna go brum, brum, brum. Let's hear it. Interesting. Let's see how well that punches through. Semi-well. You could hear it just very tad. So we're gonna push it up, and then we're gonna give this to. Sure, that's not playing anything, is it? So this is probably gonna be set automatically though, just on the way my, yeah, on the way my template set up. Excuse me. I can't play that long though. I'll wait a bit. G. So what if we start like this? We'll keep. Actually, we'll keep the velocity all the way up to give them more accents to the hits. Modulation-wise, we're pretty much going to have no. Just pretty much. Actually, we won't do full. We'll do probably 100. But no dynamic control during it, because you really want to just kind of punch through, almost like it's marcato. Please full dynamics. I hated that, so we're gonna get rid of this part and just have it come in on the second beat. It will join in the harp in unison. Maybe on the third one we'll have maybe in the other flute part, and it can be playing the broken third. Okay, cool. So we're gonna take this, right? We're gonna go up here. We're gonna find some form of woodwind that isn't being used. That's being used. This flute isn't being used. That's what I thought. Alright, let's hear it go. Remember, this main one's going to line up with everything else. Hold on, let me get rid of this and start it behind it so we can really hear it. I decided to bring the harp down. Alright, I'm going to call it quits here, so, well, I get stuck when I start writing music, but it is getting really late, so we're going to go ahead and listen to the full, very impressive 17 bars of music that we've written today. And then we'll pick back up where we left off. So let's give it a quick listen. All right, it's something. So we will get back and get started writing on it in the next couple of days. I will hop back on and then I'll just release this in parts so that you can follow along. Or if you just want to watch one certain part, I'll title the video specifically for certain things that we discuss and that I do demonstrate. Maybe this one will be about specifically writing this kind of, I mean, I wouldn't call it action, just kind of, maybe I'll just be cliche and call it like how to write epic string orchestration. Um, because we did focus a lot on the strings is the most involved part in this piece. Um, so if you're looking just how, this is what you got out of it, just looking how to write simple ostinatos accompanied by a full section of strings. There you go. Probably the next part we'll focus more on thematic writing, right, in this area, right? We'll put some themes in here and how to accompany the themes with certain things. Remember, how I just demonstrated earlier, we're going to transpose a lot of things up by a whole step here, and we'll have it slow down here a little bit, have a big crescendo into this new key. We're in a new key. Maybe the character just grew wings, it's taking off and flying, right? Think Superman, right? Um, this is more like fantasy sounding though, so think probably like an actual fairy or like some, I don't know, like Maleficent or something, right? Taking off and flying. So I have some big theme played on some bold, bold, broad horns, right? Um, and yeah, I demonstrate how to do that and how to accompany everything with it. Um, but yeah, so my name is Robert Charles Corley. This is, as I stated several times, this is my first video. If you did enjoy it, if you learned something, please feel free to comment. I'd love to hear what you guys think of the piece so far, and maybe any suggestions. I mean, I'm very open to suggestions. If you think maybe, oh, do this at, bar 7 or bar 8 or whatever. Maybe obviously, 100% I'll look at those. Um, Make sure to not forget to subscribe. I mean, it's gonna help me. I'm kind of new to the whole YouTube thing. I write a lot of music, but I was like, you know what? Why don't I just try to start recording me doing it because I do it so much anyway. And it was kind of nice to talk the whole time. It kind of helped me keep my thoughts in order, I feel like. Um, but my Spotify is Robert Charles Corley, my full name. Um, Check me out there, as I stated before. All my film scores, all of my personal projects and music, etc. is all going to be on there for you guys to go take a listen to. Um, and yeah, so I hope you guys learned something. And if you didn't, that's okay. Um, but if you did, wonderful. So I'll see you guys in the next part. Thank you very much.